Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Alexis Jade,
And I'm your other host, Laura Quinn.
and welcome in to the podcast Cheer for
More
Queer,
queer.
the podcast where we talk about everything queer. Anything you can think of,
Queer.
anything you want to talk about, we're going to talk about it because this is Cheer for Queer. And welcome in to our first ever episode. We
Woo!
appreciate anyone who's watching this, anyone who's tuned in to watch it, anyone who's watching this. Either you're just finding us months later or you're finding us for our very first episode ever. We appreciate you for being here. And because this is our first ever episode, just to give a brief introductions on who we are, we'll talk about it more at the end. If you stay all the way till the end, we can talk a little bit more about ourselves. But to kick us off here, a little bit about me. I'm Alexis. I am a queer actor, content creator. I've been acting I've called myself an actor for about 10 years now, but I've been a creator for a little bit less than that. But that's a little bit about me and Laura Quinn. Who are
Ooh,
you?
I am. Yeah, who am I? That's a good question. Um, a little little extra, little fun, to add is that you are American and I am from Europe.
Yes,
So that is the first thing to start off with. I
a little bit
am
big of a thing I
European.
totally missed. Yes.
Yeah, the probably most essential part why we're not recording this together is
Yes,
because there's a whole ocean in between us.
correct.
But anyway, so I'm European. I am a designer and a content creator. I used to work in marketing, video creation, photography, and now I'm doing design. So that's kind of something about me. Yeah,
Yeah, and if it wasn't obvious already, we are girlfriends.
that sounds so weird. We're partners. For a second, I just felt like I was
Partners?
10 years old again.
I'll
Yeah,
just
we're
say we're dating.
girlfriends. We're whatever. It's fine. But yeah, we're dating. We're
Which,
partners. We've been
if
dating
it's,
for a while. So
yes, yes.
in the first episode of Cheer for Queer, we're gonna talk about the music industry, specifically the queer music industry. There's a lot of changes going on, and I think that 2024 is going to be a very interesting year. To kick it off with, JoJo Siwa just released her very first, I would say very first, like new music video,
Yep.
which we just done a reaction video to. So if you're interested in that, definitely go to our channel and check that out. But she just released new music. She is going to release a new album, I believe, which has, like developed some different reactions for everyone. Then on top of that, Fletcher, the one and only Fletcher, is going on tour this month, and she just released a new album. She also went on a podcast with her ex, Shannon Beveridge, which was very interesting and we could react to, and much more. So, yeah, there's tons of things to talk about today. So, as we said before, there's been big changes happening already in the queer music industry. Think about Dylan Mulvaney, who has been putting out a music video. There were some like controversies around it, but I don't know much about that. I don't think you do. We tried to
No.
stay away from the drama,
Yeah.
but she is making some music, and I tend to really love Dylan Mulvaney. So, yeah, I was right on top of that. Then I know that Charlie, who I absolutely love, I don't know if she is Australian, but I know she's the supporting act for Fletcher in Australia. And I'm
Yeah.
so sad that I'm going in Europe instead of Australia because I would have loved to see her too. So
Also, a
if
trip to
you
Australia, who would say no?
I mean, I wouldn't say no. That's definitely on my bucket list still. Yeah.
Same.
So that's super cool. We can put some links in the description for anyone who
Hmm.
wants to check out some more queer music. But nothing can top what
No.
happened this week. I don't think there's anyone in the queer community who has not heard in the past 2 weeks, right? Who has not heard about the rebrand of JoJo Siwa.
Yes.
It's been a journey for not only JoJo, but also for us, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely like it's okay. I think everyone here knows, anyone watching, if you have a TikTok account and you're queer, you probably have had JoJo Siwa's song, whether it's her video or someone else's, has come up, yes, on your feed at some point. And, obviously the response, I guess, to the song hasn't been overwhelmingly positive. Everyone's entitled to their opinion, right? Everyone can
Yeah.
have their opinion on the song. Music is meant to be interpreted, everything, you all know that. But um, it's definitely, I think, something we wanted to touch on because it is very prevalent right now in the queer world, and there's some very
Yeah.
strong reactions from people in the queer community. And it also like she is going through a whole new like Laura just said, a rebrand of herself. Like was obviously she was on Dance Moms, I mean. She was on Dance Moms, and she was a child actor, I guess you could say, like a child in the industry that came out and is now going through her phase of transitioning to being publicly out in the open as a queer person.
Yeah,
So,
she's definitely doing that in a, I mean, we can talk about that more like in a bit
mhm,
later, but she's definitely going through a change. I think she's been very
yes.
vocal about the change. Hi, Finn. I see Finn on your screen. Just,
Yes. Any
her
listeners
red
out
cat.
there, yes, little Finn is on the screen.
Yeah. But I mean, she's definitely going through a change, and I think
Hmm.
I have some theories, right, about the choice of the song that she put out first. The only thing that we have seen is a release party that she was hosting, I think. I've seen
Yeah,
a
on
few
TikTok, I
clips.
seen a clip. Yeah.
Yeah. And we just reacted, so if you want to watch that too, we just reacted
Hmm.
to the music video. So it's still fresh in our minds. Okay.
Yes.
We are still shocked. And you can watch that on our channel too. But that's all we
Hmm.
basically seen. And it's definitely interesting. Let's talk about that music video first. Because we just seen it.
Hmm. Yes, we
I'm
just
still
did.
processing.
Yeah, we just did the reaction video to it. So literally like a few minutes ago.
Yep.
So we're still comprehending what we watched. Um, like I said in the video, I don't like. Here's my thing when it comes to watching JoJo's music video is I don't I didn't really understand the storyline of the music video, but maybe it
No.
was just meant to be an extravagant dancing number. I don't know. Um, I will say I don't believe that I am JoJo Siwa's target audience. I'm a little bit
No.
older than her, and I think maybe her target audience might be a little younger. So like when it comes to me, like my opinions on the song, it's not my cup of tea, but I also don't know if I'm the person that it's meant to be receiving it. So
Okay,
like,
so it's funny how you say, I think I'm too old, right? As a target audience. Like you're not her target audience because you're a bit too old.
right.
And it's funny that you say that because I've seen two videos. That's all I've seen. There was a event with some fans, some super fans. And
Hmm.
from what I could see, what was surprising to me is that these people were older than we were. Like they were in their like I would say like 40s, and
What?
she was, yeah, like I seen some, and I could be, again, take it with a grain of salt. I don't know. I haven't been too involved in this situation, but I seen some
Okay.
videos that said it was an event for super fans, and these people, there were not children. It might have been the moms, and coincidentally, there
Maybe.
were no kids on the video. I don't know. So it's allegedly, okay. I'm not
Right.
just I'm making an assumption here, but I was very surprised to see more people older than I am because I'm in my 20s than people who were younger. So, but
Okay.
anyways, yeah, that was shocking to me because I don't think I'm your target audience either. I think that JoJo doesn't know who her target audience is yet because, like you said before, she's been on Dance Moms, right?
Right.
And like it's funny because it's about kids who are extremely talented. Like you can say whatever you want about JoJo. I know there's some allegations. I'm not I've not read up, on them too much. So completely aside from that, you have to be blind to seeing talent if you say that JoJo can't dance because she can dance, right? She is
Yep.
talented. Like if you put me next to her, like I am a terrible dancer. You'll be able to see the difference. But I think that the people who watch Dance Moms were, I mean, like my stepmom, because she used to watch TLC and Dance Moms and all these like programs. I don't think there were many kids watching it, which actually could back up the theory that I have that most people at the super fan event were actually older because her target audience used to be, I think, I don't want to say like moms, but I I guess maybe moms because it wasn't a kids program. It was rough. Like it was a rough program.
Yeah, I just find it hard to believe that, like, I mean, I obviously you saw what you saw, But I would be surprised because now that she's out and proud, she's clearly like her music video kind of gave me the idea that she's trying to emulate Lady Gaga-ish vibes, right? Like
No,
from
I agree on
2008.
that part.
So
Yeah,
like
but I'm
I find it hard to believe that like moms in their 40s are like, yes, JoJo Siwa, Lady Gaga era.
no,
But
no. So
like,
that's not what I was saying. No. Okay, so here
okay.
was where I was going. So I was saying that JoJo Siwa, I don't think she knows who her target audience is yet. I think she's still trying
Hmm.
to find it because when she was on Dance Moms, if you look at the program, that is not a kids program. That's a whole different topic, like Dance Moms, but that was
Right.
horrifying. These kids, like these poor kids. But there's no child that's watching that being like, "Oh my god, I love Dance Moms." No, that was like a program for, I don't want to say moms, but I guess like my stepmom, for example, like was a,
Hmm.
the target audience that watches TLC. Like I think it's mostly like women, like older. Um, so that was her target audience first. Then she went, she moved on from Dance Moms to an extent, and she was dressing up very girly and very like with the bows and with the glitters, and I think she was then trying to attract a younger audience. But I don't know to what extent she actually succeeded in that, and I think that because of that, major change and then now again changing, I don't think she has a target audience yet. Like, and
True.
this is an
Maybe this
assumption of
is,
mine, but
yeah, I mean, maybe this is her attempt to just like find a target audience.
I get, like, yeah, I guess, because I wouldn't know. It's either the kids or the moms in their 40s, and I don't feel like this music video resembles either of them.
Yeah. And I mean, I think this kind of ties into, without going too deep in the spiral of like who is her
Yeah,
target audience. I think it kind of goes into just like people's interpretations of the music video and of her
yeah,
music in general, because I guess depending on who you are, you're gonna view it differently. Like I think
yeah.
I personally listen to it and I'm like, nah, not my cup of tea. But who knows? Maybe she'll release a different song that is, and I'm like, wow, this is a banger. Who knows? But like in terms of the music video and everything else, I mean, it was definitely interesting. It was tension grabbing, which if that's what she was looking for, she accomplished that for sure. And
Well,
I mean, I have to assume by the costume choices and the dancing choices that that
she
was
loves
probably her
Kiss.
intent.
That's what we do know. She loves
She
Kiss.
also likes dry humping,
Oh,
apparently,
she loves it.
which
Yeah, she's seen it 3 times or something. I am going to add
yes,
that to my list of 2024 things to
yeah.
try out, because she seems to be
You've
very
never tried
enthusiastic
dry
about it.
humping?
I don't know if we should go into this, but
You never
I mean,
tried it?
everyone. Okay, hold on, hold on. Everyone's done it. If you're listening and you're like, I actually haven't done it, good for you. No shame in that. Just
Well,
do what you find comfortable. But
here's
the amount of dry humping in this video and how like clear it was, I was like, okay, why does this song sounds like the Descendants Disney version of Miley Cyrus's, transformation? Um, but then she's dry humping. Like it
Well,
gave me an error.
here's my thing about the dry humping is it's not like I walked around just dry humping people. It was more so I
I don't think
associate
that's
it with
legal.
no, I associate it with like, in middle school and high school you do like dances and like you're just
Okay.
like,
That's
like
different.
that's kind of like
Yeah.
everyone's done it. But needless to say, I don't think it was our cup of tea. Um, and but it was in it. She can dance. Like, don't get me
Yeah,
wrong,
she
she
can
can
dance.
dance,
Yeah.
obviously. I think everyone knows that. So in terms of the music video, yeah, I just think it was interesting. It was unique and
Yeah.
it was, yeah, I don't have like a super strong reaction one where like I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. I'm just kind of like,
I don't think it
mm,
was like a love or hate music video. I think it
no,
was a confused or more confused music video.
right.
And I think we're on the spectrum more confused
More confused,
because
right. We didn't get
for
much
me,
clarity.
no, no, it got worse actually because
Yeah.
if we're talking about the lyrics, right? And I could be wrong, but she's obviously singing about karma's a bitch. But then in the music video, how I, interpret it is that she was the one cheating on her
Hmm.
partner,
Yeah.
and you can see that in the music video. But then she says something like that her ex-partner hooked up with someone else
Hmm.
and that now karma's coming from her for her, and I'm like, hold on, wait a minute. So, JoJo, JoJo, um, you're the one cheating, and then you're mad that the person who you cheated on moved on. Like, if that's the case, right? If I interpreted that correctly, that was interesting for me. It's definitely a perspective on life. I don't know if I can agree with that one, but that was one of the biggest confusion moments for me in the music video, I guess. Aside from all the visuals that were shocking and unexpected.
Yeah, and I mean, like, at the end of the day, right? Like, we'll have our opinions one way or another about the
Yeah.
music video and our interpretations and whatnot. But at the end of the day, like at her release party, the clips that we've seen on TikTok and things like that, like she seemed happy, which like that's the number one thing, right? Like if she was happy producing her music, then, like good for her.
Yeah.
Because as we're about to get into, like she's doing a whole rebrand and also coming to terms with like her sexuality being out there publicly. So like if this brings her happiness, then you know what? Good on her. And I'm
I
glad.
mean, yeah, and that's the thing, right? Because everyone has an opinion on a music video. I think that, there's a takeaway. You know what my opinion is.
Right.
I think that it was interesting. It is not my cup of tea. It was shocking at some points, her
Hmm.
motoing out of the ocean, starfishing into the ocean. Like it's all sort of
Right.
things that I will not be trying in my swimming pool. But I think that, like you said before, there were some videos of her having a release party. I don't know if she hosted it herself or if she just attended, but she genuinely seemed so happy. And I think
Yeah.
that from an artist perspective, we
Right.
also need to understand that she just put something out that she worked on for months and she is genuinely happy with it. So
Right.
even if we think like, how can you be happy? Like, what is this? This is like, whatever you think of it, like you need to understand like this is big for her, this is her moment, and
Hmm.
she's expressing it a lot. She is comparing herself to a lot of huge artists in the
Yeah.
industry. I don't know if I can agree with those comparisons, but she's definitely happy with what she's putting out. And like you said, like she's going through a huge transition from like a child star to not only the artist that she wants to be later, because she's
Hmm.
20 I think now, but also on top of that she's going through this whole like period in her life where she's trying to figure out her sexuality. Because when we were talking about ourselves, like I don't know about you, but for me, I went back and forth constantly about, okay, so am I a lesbian? Am I, bisexual? Like what is going on in my head? And you're trying to also adapt, your whole style to it. And then on top of that, you're an artist, so you also want to make sure that that is expressed in your work. So like that's like a whole thing for her. Like that's huge what she's doing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. A few things I want to touch on what you said because like
Yeah.
I mean, one, like as a creator, as an actor, like obviously there's work I've done in the past that looking back at now is super cringe. And I'm not saying she will.
Yeah.
Maybe in 10 years from now she's still going to be just as proud then as she will be right now. But like I know as a creator, like regardless of how it's received by other people, and don't get me wrong, I always want to create content that like connects with people. But at the
Yeah.
end of the day, like 19-year-old Alexis is not the same actor 20 whatever year old Alexis is. So you guys don't
Too
get to know
scared
my
to
age
say
right
her
away.
age.
Not the first episode. So it's different. And like I think back to when I was JoJo's age, like that
Yeah.
and like as a creator at JoJo's age, yeah, there's stuff I was proud of that maybe now I look back and cringe on or whatever. But like at the end of the day, also like Laura just said, she's also rebranding as a queer creator and like as a queer person in general, when you go through these like I remember when I officially came out and like I
Yeah.
was wearing the snapback caps and
Oh, this
I
yeah.
was going to pride parades wearing like my style changed so much because I thought I had to fit into like certain stereotypes so like people
Yeah.
would know I'm gay or like girls would like me. And then I was like contemplating, am I bi? Am I gay? Like, and that's a whole other podcast we could get into, right? On our personal
Yeah, for sure. We
journeys
will.
with that.
Yeah.
But like she's doing all of this at the same time publicly. And I know
Yeah.
this is the one other thing I wanted to touch on is I know that there are currently some allegations right now out against her in certain things
The
with,
ex OMG pop or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
with some sort of camp thing that she was doing, and like at the end of the day, we are aware of it, but not enough has been released, nothing has been confirmed, and so like we're not going to touch on that yet because that's not something that we feel knowledgeable or there's enough anything right now to talk about. So
No,
like
yeah.
right now we're just talking about what we know, which is
Yeah.
she's a 19-year-old who's queer, who's releasing her first like big album since
Yeah.
changing her whole rebrand, and that's kind of like what we just wanted to wrap it all on touching on.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, there's allegations. There have been in the past. Like I've heard some things of it, but we just don't know, and we're not going to touch on that right now. But it is definitely an interesting rebrand, and I think what's funny is that I mean, I don't know who your team is, right? And this is easy saying, from the sidelines. So again, like don't take this too seriously, but from like I have some marketing knowledge and stuff and PR and everything. And what I found interesting is that the PR that they're doing isn't bad. It's just a direction that I find interesting because she went from the super expressive, like the bows and the glitters and everything, right? So many colors. They want to stick to something that is polar opposite, but still very, very like expressive, like the
Yeah.
the kiss face that she's going through right now, which I find interesting because I think that the difference would have been bigger if she would have just chosen to style herself more um like less how do you say that? I'm trying, sorry guys, I'm Dutch. I'm trying to
Hey,
sometimes find the words in
no need
English.
to apologize. I'm learning Dutch, and my Dutch
Yeah,
is ik spreek een beetje Nederlands.
there you go, guys.
Mine
For
is
all the
not
Dutch
very good.
listeners.
So take all the time you need. What are you
Yeah.
trying to get
I mean,
across?
so like if she would have chosen to dress a bit more, I don't want to use the word normal, so don't take it the wrong
Like
way, but I'm trying to find, like she's super
societal
expressive right
norms.
now. Yeah, like Miley Cyrus, take her for example. She was a girl
Right.
from Disney and then she completely changed her image and in the wrecking ball period, right? She cut her hair.
Hmm.
She still wore like very like generic clothes. I don't
Hmm.
know, like but
Yeah.
it wasn't like so out in the open, but the contrast was still there, right? So it was
Right.
subtle in a way, but also not subtle in a way. And I think that that was a really good choice of her. And she rebranded again, and I'm happy that she, I think, sort of found herself now, and
Hmm.
she's doing very well right now. But I think with JoJo, they could have gone that direction too, instead of making everything super like um theatrical, I
Yeah.
guess. I don't know.
Hmm.
And I think that that's the danger because she was already like that. It is just a different color palette she's using right
Yeah.
now instead of really doing a rebrand. And then on top of that, I don't think that the PR that they're doing aside from that is really bad because think about it. Those videos that went viral of her dancing, right? We could all see that it was definitely delivered differently than all the other dancers, and there were a
Hmm.
lot of parodies and funny videos made out of it. But if you think about it, wasn't that the greatest PR stunt they could have used to release
Yeah.
this music
Oh,
video?
for
Because
sure.
in the video itself, it wasn't that bad. Like she's a
Right.
good dancer. Like, you can't say much about that. So
No.
it was definitely toned down there. So in that way, and I think she's definitely getting people to watch her videos. So there's something going well. I just don't know if she should have gone into the direction she's going into, but that's my opinion, right?
Right. And I mean, like, yeah, you can say that about anyone's choice in their career and their rebranding. And I
Yeah.
mean, another person that's doing a whole rebranding that's also controversial is another queer
Drum
artist,
roll.
Fletcher. We all
Fletcher.
we all know her well, and we're talking now. We're skipping a little bit. I don't want to say skipping a generation because that makes me feel old, but like we're
God.
jumping a little bit ahead of time to
Yeah.
another queer artist who has been through the industry as well as coming out as because she wasn't originally out as a queer artist to start her career
No,
off,
that's
but
true.
she
I
she
sometimes forget
did,
that.
yeah, but she did quickly transition.
Yeah.
Eventually, she did. And, obviously she's gone through some public breakups. She's put out some bangers, but has
New
also
album,
had some, I don't
tour
want to
coming
say
underway.
controversy about her because it's not like any like allegations, but like
Yeah.
controversy in terms of like public image type stuff.
Yeah, she's definitely went from her wild era to her,
Right.
she says herself, healing era.
Yes.
And she's going on tour. I have tickets for Fletcher.
I'm
Is
so
it next
jealous, by
week?
the
I
way.
think it's next
Yes.
week. I'm so excited. I'm
I'm
so
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 jealous.
excited. So that is pretty awesome. And I mean, she says she's going through her healing era, and I think that there might be some truth to that. I have heard her album. I think it is great. I really like
Hmm.
her music. And on top of that, she's been on a podcast with her ex, Shannon
Yes,
Beveridge, which was
recently.
interesting. I
Yes.
did not know what to expect, but you know what? It was definitely not what I expected. I thought
No,
it was more it would have been more awkward.
okay, wait. I have something I want to say on that, but first, I want to say, Fletcher, if you're ever looking for someone to be in a music video, I will happily volunteer myself. I am an actor, as I've said 3 times now. I'm a creator. You can come on our podcast anytime. Also, um, me and Fletcher, I don't know if she remembers this, but we are best friends.
Oh
Um,
god. It's a bit
Fletcher,
of an
so
over-exaggeration, but sure.
no, 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 no. It's a complete fact. When fun fact about Alexis is I used to live in New York City. I went to college in New York City. I went to a college down the street from the same college Fletcher went to in New York City. And I have been a fan of hers since way back when she had her first like song on Spotify. And back then, when her and Shannon were dating, I had actually like walked past them a few times, just like having lunch at not Central Park, it was Union. I think it was Union Park. Um, but I took pictures of the first time she like put posters up to like promote herself, and I tweeted it back when my Twitter, I like never went on there. Anyways, Fletcher, liked it. She commented. She would like some of my posts frequently. Like, I seen her in person, just like in passing all the time. So like we're basically best
Sounds like
friends.
things best friends would do.
Yeah, so we're basically like this. If you're watching the video, I'm doing this. If you're listening, don't worry about it. But we're basically we're basically besties. So I've been expecting her
Sure.
call any day now to be in her music video, but just in case she wasn't already thinking about it or she got busy. Um,
For anyone who's
Fletcher,
wondering whether she's serious, this is her humor. So
no, but I am serious about
don't
what
call the
happened.
police
I
thinking that she
Yes, okay, no, but I am serious about what happened. Like all of that is
Okay, no, yeah,
true.
I believe that. Yeah.
Yes, all of that is true. I'm not making the stories up. Like that's all fact. But yes, she recently had her podcast with her ex Shannon, who I also saw in
Yeah.
person. We're not quite besties. We're acquaintances.
Oh, of
Um,
course. Okay.
right. That's the joke part, guys. Okay. If that's not clear, I'm sarcastic. Anyways, yes, she had her podcast with her ex Shannon, which we thought we would tie this in because it's part of her like rebranding, you could call it, with her new album with the healing after all the stuff with her ex and making
Yeah.
the sex tapes EP and all that. So like this is part of that
Yeah.
journey is this podcast
And
episode
you
she
know
did with
what?
Shannon.
I'm loving her transition to
Hmm.
who she is becoming right now. I think
Yeah.
that she is putting out great music. I think that she's putting out great art through her music videos. I
Hmm.
feel like she is genuinely in her healing era. I feel like sometimes Fletcher's taking over Carrie sometimes. I think Carrie wants to do better than Fletcher.
Yeah.
From what she's saying
Yeah.
herself. But you know what? She's learning. And it is funny because sometimes I don't realize that we're not that far apart in age and that she went through the phases that I'm in right now, just quite recently. So that is just, I don't know, very interesting to see. And I think that it was a big step for her to go on a podcast with her ex, Shannon
Yeah.
Beveridge, to talk about all of this. Which I very much admire that, she
Yeah.
cares enough about. I don't even think because for themselves they could have talked it out, right? But I think that
Right.
it is interesting to see how much she cares about her fans.
Hmm.
Same goes for Shannon, to sit down with your ex after seeing each other, don't seeing each other for so long, to put everything out on the internet. So yeah.
Well, I think it also shows how much she respected Shannon, not just as a
Yeah.
person, but her career. Because, like, yeah, they had talked about how they had to sit down talk privately, but Fletcher, like, she could have just chosen to be like, that's all I want to do. I don't want to do anything
Yeah.
public. But she also knew and Shannon talked about it in the podcast, how her professional, like persons aside, her professional like persona online, like people viewed her differently because she's like, you know, there was all these like fan theories and all these other things going
Yeah.
on. And so that's like essentially what it seems like inspired Shannon to start the podcast, was to kind of just like be able to advocate for herself and like give people insight into what's actually going on. So I thought it was nice that Fletcher also cared about her own fans and Shannon's fans enough to be like, let's clear the air for everyone and not give you either some like people misidentify you or
Yeah.
interpret your intentions either, which I thought was cool.
Yeah, I think they definitely. I mean, let's not say anything about like, oh, I think they're together again, or they're
No, no,
just
no.
friends, guys. I'm pretty
Only Rose
sure
and Rosie
they
can say
are,
that.
and only Rosa Rosie can say that. But no, I think it's really cool to see that in the day and age of social media, and where you see a lot of queer couples get together and break
Yeah.
up, and very unhealthy habits also being portrayed on the internet. I think it's great to
Mm-hmm.
see that there's also a way to take a step back, process your breakup and come together and talk about it. And I think that
Mm-hmm.
that was a really great thing that they done. And I think that we can go into the whole like video, of course, but we can do that in a different episode too. I think
Mm-hmm.
that it was very interesting to get some insights. I think that we never realized as a community how long they've been together and what they've been through together.
Yeah, what, four
Um,
years or something?
4 years, yeah.
That's a long
I never thought
relationship.
they were dating for that long.
No, and keep in mind, that's all during like their careers
Yeah.
changing and like a lot of things are, and just in general in life, when you're 22 and you're turning like 28, a lot of shit happens in between then. Like,
Insane.
I can speak from personal experience, a lot changes
Yeah.
in my personal life, my career, like it gets wild. So, yeah, yeah, and they took time before, and they needed time before they even
As
did
they
that
should have.
podcast.
Yeah, I
Right.
mean, I think that there were a few things that, and this is again judging from the sidelines. I love Becky so hard. Do
Great
I
song.
support the reason why she put it out? Like, I
Right.
don't know. As an artist, I totally understand that,
Mm-hmm.
as a singer, you want to, and songwriter, you want to put out your experiences. I
Right.
do feel sorry for Becky because she was pulled into like dragged into a
Yeah.
situation that she probably didn't want to be in.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I mean, I think she's learned from it, and I think that was a phase she needed to go through. And it's always easy
Yeah.
to judge from the sidelines, but unlike them, we don't have cameras on us with every
All
single
the
choice we
time.
make.
Right. Mm-hmm. At
So
least not yet.
yeah. And I mean, good music came out of it. So you can
Right.
think whatever you want. Like I said, I'm not supporting the decision to drag someone else into your breakup mess, but it's a good song. That's all we can say about it. So
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I just think overall, we really just wanted to tie that in because it kind of fits into Fletcher's
yeah.
rebrand of her healing era with her album, and she produces great music, and she's honestly like as a fan watching her from when she first started to now,
Yeah.
it's like I almost, this sounds weird, but I almost feel proud because I'm like, holy cow, like this girl really like she wasn't even out when she first started and now she's become like an icon and a person moving the chains for
Yeah.
other queer artists and like we're starting to see more and more, but like Fletcher's definitely changed the game. And I mean, she
Yeah,
produces
for sure.
high quality music too. Like, I don't think people realize she also has a big hand in writing her own music. Like, she studied, when I went to college in New York, she was studying music. Like, this is what she lives and breathes. So, like, I don't want to speak for her, but like, it's clear that she has a lot of passion and like talent. And I'm just like, I think in terms of an artist standard, it's really cool seeing someone get as popular as she has in the pop music world because she's
Yeah.
probably right now arguably one of the biggest pop stars that's queer, which is
Yeah,
huge.
for sure. Which is also the reason why Rose and Rosie want to be friends again with her.
Right,
I don't know if
right.
anyone has seen this video. I found it, and I feel like there's a lot of resemblance in, us as a couple compared to Rose and Rosie. Not to, this sounds like a JoJo Siwa comparison, like we
Yeah,
look
we're
like
not
Megan
saying we're
Myers,
them.
but
They're clearly
no,
funnier.
it's not like, but there's a lot of similarities in the way that we respond to things and our
Yeah.
humor. And I found it so funny that they made a video reacting to, Shannon and Fletcher's podcast, which most
Did you?
people didn't like, react to out of respect, but Rose and Rosie just completely turned that around.
Dude, did you see their TikTok of Rose like turning the camera and Rosie sitting there with the video playing on her TV and she's
Yeah.
writing notes and she's like, "What are you doing?" And she's like, I thought it was so funny. I was like, God, I
Yeah,
love
they
them.
are
They
so
crack me
funny.
up. But
Yeah.
but speaking of people up and coming in the queer music realm, it kind
Yes.
of all ties in together here. Paying attention to what we're doing, is Shannon, obviously Fletcher's ex, has a roommate, Zolita, who is
Oh,
also an
love,
up and
love, love
coming
her.
artist. And I say up and coming because she's been around for a bit, but I feel
Yeah.
like she's starting to gain more steam as like she's getting more and more popular.
Yeah.
And she is also obviously a queer artist. And what I personally really admire about her is just her music videos, because obviously I think that's what's
Yeah.
garnered her attention lately. And as someone who is an actor, but I also am very much like, I could have more roles than I've had so far, but I like control over my career and I don't want to represent something that I wouldn't be proud of. And so like I love to write my own stuff, even if they never see the light of day. Like I would love for them
Yeah.
to when I have the funds maybe one day. But I just love what she's doing if she's taking control of like this is what I want in my music video. This is what it's going to be. I'm going to produce it. And I'm like I love that because that's how I
She
view
is
my acting
badass.
career. I'm like I want to be an actor and I do love acting and I have done
Yeah.
other roles that I didn't produce, but like I've gotten to a point where I'm like I want control. Like I want to control what is presented and like I want it to be good representation, which is what she's doing. So I just think
She's
that's
doing a
super
great
cool.
job.
Yeah. And she has the new
She just
song.
released a new music video, "Small Town Scandal,"
Right,
and
right.
I mean, again, a banger. I think it's a great
Okay.
song. I love her previous songs. I love how she and
Right.
this is what I used to love about Troye Sivan, right? Because I remember when he had what was it called, Blue Neighborhood, I think, and it
Something.
was a series of 3 music videos that tied
Hmm.
in together as one story. And I think that Zolita is one, artist who does that just so well.
Very well. Yeah.
I love that, and the way she's using representation, like in the I would say in the correct way. There's
Hmm.
no like huge stereotypes. She's just being herself.
Yeah.
She picks out the right people for the right roles. Like I think she's doing it so well, and at the same time, she's making great songs.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited to see more of her.
Yeah.
So
And I
yeah,
mean,
that.
once again, Zolita, we're not best friends yet, but if you want to be best
Oh
friends,
God.
and also if you're looking for someone to be in your next music
Oh no,
video,
not again. Okay, cut
let me
that
know.
out. Cut it.
No, no, I need to let them know. They need to know.
This is
Please,
not
I'm
only a
desperate.
podcast, this is also Alexis's job application.
Yes, this is
So
my public job application for everyone, every queer artist
get
music
her
videos.
queer work.
Yes, please, please.
Yeah.
Um,
No, but I
honestly.
think it's
But
great. And the
yes.
funny thing is also that the content that she's creating, right? The representation is not only done by her, but also by her fellow roommate, Shannon Beveridge, who Shannon,
Yeah, that's
great
cool
job.
too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
she is also, I think we sometimes forget that aside from being a YouTuber slash podcaster, she is also an amazing photographer. And I don't want to say cinematographer because I'm not sure if
I
she
think she's
is, but
working on it.
she's
She
definitely,
just,
yeah,
I
having a
think
great
it's not
influence on
talked about a
everything.
lot because she doesn't, that's like when she's behind the camera, she's not really
Yeah.
posting about it. But she
No, yeah.
is, like, she did Ariana Grande's photo shoot for her billboards in New York.
Did she?
Yeah, yeah. Not the most, I don't think the most recent one, but it was like last year
Wow. That's
when
cool.
there was some story where like Ariana Grande basically got told by her record label, like, you need to have X, Y, and Z like by tomorrow. And she was like, how are we meant to do that?
That's
And they were like,
crazy.
you need to like, we need to get the studio together. And she was like,
Yeah.
F that. I'm just gonna shoot this in my apartment. And Shannon, I'm pretty sure this is the same scenario, ended up being the photographer that like took
That's
Ariana's pictures.
crazy. I
Yeah,
mean,
so
as a
Shannon's
photographer,
doing
I
shit.
look up to her so much because
Hmm.
she's making, yeah,
Yeah,
great work.
queer
So
artists. If you're looking for a photographer that is also queer, hire Laura Quinn.
Oh God, I don't know. I don't know if this is my job opportunity moment, but who knows? Maybe. I think we're putting ourselves out too much. But
I'm not. I will put
yeah.
myself out more.
Oh God, here we go, guys. You're in for a ride with these episodes. I'm
Yes,
gonna
you
try
are.
and have creative control over these, editing moments and try and cut
No, we
out
don't
as
edit
much as
anything
possible.
out. No, no, that's messed up. If you see a bunch of cuts, it's her fault.
All the cuts are my fault.
All the cuts is
No, but
Alexis just like one-liners.
yeah. No, but to go back into, the music industry, I think there's like just great artists and great changes made.
Hmm.
I think that we should probably have another episode talking about more of them. You can comment down
Yes.
below if there's anyone you want to talk about or whether we haven't talked enough about something. I'm
Yes.
pretty sure when we go back to, JoJo Siwa, I think that when she releases her album, we are definitely going to talk more about that because
Hmm.
there is some tea coming out, guys, about a specific song that apparently no blame to JoJo, but something went wrong between the songwriter and how it's put out right
Yeah,
now,
yeah,
which we will hear about more. So I'm here for the tea, but we are
yeah.
definitely going to talk more about those things.
Yeah, and there's going to be a lot more talk of, because like we've already mentioned, like we're both people
Yeah,
who are quasi like industry, whatever. So like there's going to be talks of like film and
whatever.
television. We're going to talk about like show reactions. It's also like our own personal experiences with things. Like literally when we say we're going to talk about everything queer, like anything under the sun you
Yeah,
can think of, we're going to eventually talk about. So if you have like topics you want to talk about, if you have like things that we didn't touch on, and even if it's something you don't think that we would talk about, we probably would. So
yes.
please like let us know in the comment section. That would be very appreciated because we also want to know your thoughts and what you think. Also, do you guys like my, if you're watching, do you like
Oh,
my
it's very
women
gay.
murals
Yes.
behind me? Yes, I thought so. I thought it was a good setting. Um,
But you know what we haven't touched on yet, which we did promise at the start of the episode for anyone who's still listening and who's interested to
Wanky.
know who the heck we are. How about we just talk a bit more about ourselves for like the last, I would say like 2-3 minutes. Give
Yeah,
them a
if you're,
little bit more than
yeah,
our
if you're
jobs.
still sticking around to hang out to talk to us for the last bit of this episode here, thank you for watching all the way
We
through, and
appreciate
I
it.
hope you enjoyed. Like I said, please comment because we like interacting too with everyone. But yeah, I guess I could start us off since I'm already talking. What's new? Um, I am, as we've already said, I've given myself a few shout outs now in this episode that I'm looking for a job as a person
Oh
in a
God, here we
music
go again.
video. But yes, I'm queer. I guess I would identify as like bisexual, but I tend to just use the umbrella term queer because I really don't think, I think sexuality is fluid. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Um, but I definitely lean towards women, which is why I just say queer. I don't know. But I'm a queer
This is another
person.
spiral that we can talk about in another episode.
Yes, another topic. I'm a queer person who I identify like career wise. I work a day job, but personally, I identify as someone who is a content creator and an actor because those are my two passions. That's what I do every minute of every day when I'm not working or talking to this one over here. And yeah, I'm just very passionate about queer representation and women representation in media, in the industry, in sports. I have a sports podcast for the Bears that I talk about, just because I
Go
love
Bears.
football. Go Bears, bear down. Just because I love football. So, but yeah, that's a bit about me. What about you, Laura? What do you want the
What
people
about
to know?
me? I don't know. Like, what do I want to put out there? No,
You're
so I identify as my pronouns are she, her. Same goes for Alexis, both she, her.
Yes.
I would say bisexual, a struggling bisexual, because for the time being, and like I said, we'll get into that in a different episode, but I'm definitely leaning more towards the women, because who wouldn't? It's the best one to pick out of the choices. I don't know what I'm saying, but anyways,
It
that's
is the
my
best
choice.
pick.
But I am a bisexual. I do tend to use queer. I know that queer is a word that within the community has positive and negative, like reactions to it. For us, it is a positive thing. For me as a Dutch person, the word queer doesn't necessarily seem offensive because we never use the word in any like negative way. So that's why I identify as queer, and that's why we use queer in our podcast. But yeah, that's kind of a little bit about my sexuality. I am a designer, like I said, and in my free time, I like to play games on my
Ah,
PlayStation.
yeah.
I am a diehard Fortnite player, which you can judge all you want, but you know what? Try and fight me. Try and fight me in Fortnite, and you'll say something differently. No, but
Don't try to fight her. Take my advice. Do not try to fight her. Do not get in an argument with her. You will
I will
not
knock
win.
you out.
You will not win.
No, but yeah, so I like to game, and aside from that, I like to stream. I sometimes stream. I think we'll be streaming some things on our
Yeah, I
channel too.
think.
I think that there's a lot of different things you can expect on our channel. We obviously have our Cheer for Queer, which we will post, very frequently. An
Yes.
episode like once every 2 weeks. We'll go to once a week at some point, but right now with our jobs, it's kind of hard. And then we will be posting some couple content because we are a couple, and right now we're still long distance. I know, very gay of us.
Yes.
But we will be moving, and hopefully at some point together. We're looking
Yes.
for a
If
house.
people
And
are interested, one day we could probably, because I'm sure the number one question is, how the hell did you guys meet?
oh, we'll
So
do a
like,
Q&A. We'll do a Q&A.
we could do
Yes.
that at some point.
Yeah.
We'll also have like vlogs and stuff too, like primarily from me. I'll probably be vlogging and posting it on our channel
Yeah.
because I enjoy posting that kind of content, reaction videos, stuff like that.
And request
Yeah.
what you want to see, right? We're trying to figure out like what our rebrand is going to be from this little starting
Yeah. We talked about
point
everyone
to
else's rebrand. What's our
I know.
rebrand?
What about ours? I don't even think we are in the phase
We
of
don't even
rebrand. We're
know.
still branding for the
We're
first
still
time. But
branding.
yeah, no, we're gonna put out a lot of content.
Well, we'll also be meeting up here soon in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
We you
Oh,
will
if you
you
want to
will
see it better.
you guys will end up getting to see a podcast and probably some videos and definitely vlogs for me of us actually
Yeah.
in person, and maybe I'll look a little bit better because I'll be getting my hair done.
The long distance disaster, but then in real life together.
Yes.
So that's
So
gonna be
the real life
interesting.
disaster.
The real life disaster, yes.
The
So
title of
that's
the
kind of
next
what you can
episode.
expect from our episodes. And if you have
Yeah.
any, things that you want to request, be my guest. Put it in the comments down below. And I think that's how we are gonna wrap this up, right?
Yeah. And if you're watching on the YouTube channel, please, if you enjoy this content, subscribe because it does help, especially liking and commenting on the video, giving your
Yes.
opinions. Because one, we just want to read them and we like to engage with people, but two, it helps, YouTube and everything else know
Yeah.
that people enjoy this content. Same with like Spotify, if you leave reviews. Eventually, we'd like to start giving like shout outs to people who leave reviews for us on the podcast. So, yeah. But thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you for tuning in to the first ever Cheer for Queer podcast episode. Once again, I'm Alexis Jade.
I am Laura Quinn, and don't forget to follow us on TikTok, Cheer for Queer, just written out.
Yes,
You
and our
just forgot
personal
that.
socials will be in the bio as well.
Yes, okay.
But thank you guys for watching, and this has been Cheer for Queer.
Queer. Bye.
Bye.